Imagine standing alone in the Himalayas. The snow is falling harder every minute. The trail beneath your feet has disappeared. The temperature is dropping below freezing. There is no food, no fire, no shelter, and no one knows where you are. Now imagine surviving like that, not for one night, not for 1 week, but for 43 days. This is the unbelievable true story of James Scott, the man who survived one of the deadliest mountain ordeals in history. It all began in December 1991. James Scott was a young Australian medical student. Athletic, adventurous, and a black belt in karate, he traveled to Nepal before beginning his medical placement. Along with his friends Tim Hooper and Mark Fulton, he planned a trekking adventure through the breathtaking Himalayas. A few months earlier, the group had completed an easy trek without any major problems. That success gave them confidence, perhaps too much confidence. Believing another trek would be just as manageable, they packed lighter than they should have for the harsh Himalayan winter. At first, everything went according to plan. But then disaster struck. Tim injured his knee and was forced to return to Kathmandu. James and Mark decided to continue the journey alone. Along the way, they accepted advice from fellow trekkers and changed their planned route to the more remote Gosainkund trail. It was a decision that would change James's life forever. Without warning, a massive snowstorm swept across the mountains. Within hours, the hiking trail vanished beneath thick snow. Visibility dropped to only a few meters. Every direction looked exactly the same. As they struggled through the blizzard, James and Mark became separated while crossing a freezing mountain stream. Mark believed James was behind him and continued forward. James thought Mark had turned back. Both made the worst assumption possible. Suddenly, James was completely alone, lost in one of the most unforgiving places on Earth. With no map he could trust, no rescue team, and no way to call for help. As darkness approached, James faced a terrifying choice: stay exposed to the freezing wind, or climb a nearly 30-meter cliff in search of shelter. He had no climbing experience. He was terrified of heights. One mistake meant certain death. Yet somehow, driven purely by instinct, he reached a small rocky overhang. That tiny shelter would become his home. For the next 43 days, food quickly disappeared. There was no fire, no warm clothing, no sleeping bag capable of handling the freezing temperatures. James survived by melting snow in his mouth for water. He searched desperately for anything edible. Every night he fought against hypothermia. He even stripped off his wet clothes to dry them before putting them back on, a painful decision that likely saved his life. Days turned into weeks. His body became thinner. His feet developed severe frostbite. Every movement became agony. But perhaps the greatest battle wasn't against the mountain. It was against his own mind. James later revealed that his years of karate training became his greatest weapon. He used breathing exercises and meditation to control hunger, fear, and hopelessness. Instead of thinking about death, he forced himself to survive one more hour, then one more day. At one point, believing he might never return home, James even wrote farewell messages to his family. But the mountain wasn't finished testing him. One day, he came face to face with a Himalayan black bear. Weak, starving, and barely able to stand, he had no way to fight. For several terrifying moments, death stood only a few feet away. Miraculously, the bear eventually wandered off, leaving James alive. Meanwhile, thousands of kilometers away, his family refused to give up hope. His sister Joanne pushed authorities relentlessly to continue searching. Search teams entered the mountains. Helicopters scanned the valleys. Experienced mountaineers searched dangerous cliffs. Some rescuers even became lost themselves. As hope faded, James's family sought help from a respected Buddhist Lama. The Lama quietly pointed to an unlikely area high in the mountains. Many dismissed it, but rescuers decided to search there anyway. What happened next shocked everyone. After 43 unimaginable days, a rescue helicopter spotted movement near a rocky shelter. It was James, barely alive, starving, frozen, and astonishingly, still conscious. The rescue stunned survival experts around the world. No one had ever survived that long in that brutal part of the Himalayas. Doctors expected permanent disability. Instead, James recovered. He walked again. He returned to normal life. And his story became one of the greatest survival miracles ever recorded. James Scott's incredible journey reminds us that survival isn't always about strength. Sometimes, it's about refusing to surrender. Because when the body reaches its limit, the human spirit can still choose to keep going. And sometimes, that choice is enough to make history.